Welcome back to our YouTube channel Online 2009. So in today's video we are going to look at one of the most difficult questions in applied statistics. So we are going to break it down and all the way up to where we find our solution. So without wasting much of your time, let us get into a question. So the question says, consider the following data, and we are provided with a series of numbers which is 17, 24 all the way up to 11. So the first question says, present the data on a stem and leaf diagram. Question B says, find its mode and median. Question C says, find its interquartile range. Construct a box using a box plot using the information above and comment on its shape. Are there outliners in the distribution? If any, state them. So without further ado, let us dive into a solution. So solution for question A, which says present the data on a stem and leaf diagram. So in this case, we have to know that we have grouped data first, ungrouped data first. We have to find ungrouped data first. And secondly, we have to group that data in ascending order, that ungrouped data in ascending order. So on our ungrouped data, we have stem on our left side and a leaf on our right side. Similarly, for our grouped data, we have a stem on our left side and leaf on our right side. So this one, if you want to understand it much better or much easier, we have to go back to grade 3 where you used to have an abacus. An abacus which consists of units and tens. Okay, so in this case our units is stem and our leaf is tens. Okay, so now we want to use two series of numbers for a similar example. So let's say we have 7 and 17. All right, so going back to grade 3, if you were asked to present those numbers on abacus, you will say, let's say considering 7 first, you will say we have 0 units and 17s. Similarly, when you are to consider 17, you say we have 1 unit and 7 tens. Again, so this is the same process that we are going to do on our stem and leaf diagram. So in this case, we have to bring up our series of numbers, so we should know what we are working with. So in this case now, we have to look for a smallest number up to a biggest number. In this case, our smallest number is 11 and our biggest number is 51. Okay, so this one determines where our stem will run up to. In this case, our stem will run up from 1 up to 5. Let's say we have let's say 9. Not our number is running from 9 up to 70. Okay, so we will have 0 up to 7. Okay, instead of 1 up to 5, 1 up to 7, we have 0 up to 7 because we have 0 units for 9 and we have 7 units for 70. Okay, so in this case we have 11 up to 51. So our stem will run from 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to 5. Okay, so now we have to now take our numbers. Since we are doing it randomly, we are just going to arrange our numbers in the order from 17 to 11. Okay, so now let us take 17. We already write the 1, so we are not supposed to write 17 again. We'll just write 7. Okay, we go to 14, we write 4. We go to 18, we write 8. We go to 17, we write 7. Go to 15, we write 5. We go to 16, we write 6. And we go to 12, we write 2. We go to 13, we write 3. And we go to 15, we go write 5. We go to 12, write 2, we'll go to 17, write 7, we'll go to 12, write 2, 11, write 1. Similarly, when on 2 we are going to take all the numbers that have got a 2 before the tens. Just before we were taking the number that have got a 1 before the tens. In this case, we are now taking the number that we've got a 2 before the tens. Okay, so we have, and this is, sorry, we have to write 17 again. So we have 24, we write 4, we have 23, we write 3, and we have 23, we have 22, we write 2, we have 23, we write 3, we have 21, we write 1, we have 24, we write 4, okay, all the way, all right, here, or just doing the same thing, the same thing again. So now on our group data, we will just take these numbers and arrange them in ascending order. All right, starting with the smallest here all the way up to the biggest. So our stem will remain as 1 up to 5. We just say 1 for 11, 2 for 12. We have 3 12s. Right, again, just write them in ascending order, starting with the smallest to the way up to the biggest. Okay, so now that we have represented our data on a stem and leaf diagram, this is a stem and leaf diagram that we were told to do. Now we move on to calculate or find the mode and the median. Okay, now in finding the mode, we have to know that it's just a matter of finding the numbers or the numbers that appear the most in a given data. In this case, we have 3 numbers that appears the most, which is appearing 3 times. These numbers are 12 appear 3 times, 17 appears 3 times, and 22 appears 3 times again. So in this case, we have 3 numbers that are appearing equally. So it means we have tri-mode. Okay, if we have 2 numbers, it will be called bimode. Then if we have 1, we just have to write our number. So now calculating the median. In calculating the median, we just have to use the formula. The formula says 1/2 n minus 1 nth term. So we have to find the nth term. In this case, we know that our n is 31. How to find our n? We just count out the numbers that we were provided with. In this case, we have got 31 numbers. So plug in the numbers, we get our median as the 15th term. So we go to our group data and now start from 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th term. So this 2 is now our 50th term. And remember that this is not 2. This is 22. We count them as one number. The stem and the leaf is a one number. We have 11 here, we have 12 here, we have 12 again, 12 again. Okay, so our median becomes 22. Okay, so now moving on to question C, which is to find the interquartile range. In finding the interquartile range, we have to recall this formula, Q3 minus Q1. Forgive me for saying 1/4 n is equals to 1. No, it was supposed to be n minus 1th term. So correct that one. I will go. Maybe I will write that in the comment section. So now moving on, we have to know that to calculate Q3, we use this formula again. It's just the same, but different from. It's now 3/4 instead of 1/4. So let us recall that our n is equal to 31, and say plug in the numbers here. We got our 7.5th term. How do we find 7.5th term? The 7.5th term. Now we have to know that the 7.5th term is between 7th term, the 7th term, and the 8th term. So just add those numbers and divide them by 2. Then you will find our Q1. In this case, our 7th term is 15 and our 8th term is 15. If you divide them, you get 15. So now evaluating our Q3, we got 22.5th term. How do we find the 22.5th term? Just as we just did on Q1, you should know that your 22th term is between 22th term plus and 23rd term. In this case, our 22th term is 29 and our 23rd term is 32. If you add them, divide them by 2, we'll get 30.5. Okay, so now we have to find our interquartile range. Our interquartile range, because our Q3 and Q1 we already have them, so we have to just evaluate them, put them on the formula, and we got 15.5. So now moving on to a box and plot diagram, which is a little bit easier. It comprises of 5 parameters. We have Q1, we have Q3, we have minimum, we have maximum, then we have the median. Take note that this minimum is the smallest number on our given data, and this maximum is the biggest number on our given data. And this median, we just calculated it, we just evaluated it before. So now what we now have to do is to know that we have a box like this, and our median, if our Q1 and Q2 are equal, this will be in between the box. So this is our median. We have Q1, we have Q2. Let us have a minimum, if I have a maximum. Okay, so now presenting it on our formula, on our presenting our data now on a box plot diagram. So we have our minimum 11 and we have our Q1 15. Then when you are putting your median there, you have to know that is your median near the lower quartile range Q1, or is it near the upper quartile range, upper quartile value Q3, or is it in between those two, just the exact half of it? So if it's near Q1, your line should be near Q1. If it's near Q3, your line should be near Q3. So now in this case, 22 is near 15 than 30.5. So we put it here. So we have our 30.5 and 51. So this is our box and plot diagram. So now the comment now. On commenting now, we have to know that the distribution is left skewed because the median or the peak is shifting towards the lower quartile. As I explained before, that this median is near 15 than 30. So now moving on to our last question. Are there outliers in the distribution? If any, tell them. So we have to use this formula. Lower quartile will be equal to, lower outliner is equal to Q1 minus 1.5 interquartile range. We just found the interquartile range. Plug in the values. Now we've got lower quartile as negative 12.5, negative 8.25. Upper quartile range Q3 plus 1.5 open bracket. Use plug in the numbers now. We got this. So now that we have our lower outliner and our upper outliner, we have to go back to our series of numbers and check If the smallest number is below or above that one, then we will write them, right? Then if the upper quartile, if there is a number that exceeds this number, then this is your upper quartile. Okay, so in this case, from the given data, there is no number which is less than this number, as I said, and there is no number which is greater than this one. Hence, there are no interquartiles.